I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Loud noises!
Not a game.
This is the first time in my life I'm glad I'm dead.
We talking about practice, man.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
There's 65.
63.
Knew it, I'm surrounded by assholes.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we know you with all the information you wanted. From legends to the prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. The moves and straws dropping, they getting it in. Sports center competition, man, they get it to win. This ain't a fluke from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you listening. All the excitement is shocked like a thunder cloud and rock and lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat and cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's cover the salt tax.
And welcome to this week's edition of Sports on Tap. I am Chris Scott alongside Frank Dragata and Joe Waddell. Gentlemen,
Hello.
How are we?
Hello, we're better this week.
I think we are better.
We think we can hear ourselves.
Yes.
If you can't, those of you who are listening, if you know us, please inform us of that.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure as like last week, I'll be informed that, hey, we really couldn't hear you, especially myself, because I'm an idiot and was too far away from the microphone. And some other technical issues, but
Well, you actually weren't. We had some audio issues last week, and they got worked out this week.
again, thanks to the boys at Fully Loaded Podcast, they helped us out again.
Yes, tremendously. So
I'm not even going to call that helping us. They bailed our ass
Yeah, they
out
did
on
bail
that one.
Yes, they did. Man.
So
big shout out to them, man.
They've assisted us with with some equipment issues, and please go check them out. The Fully Loaded Podcast show. Great guys, and they do a great job over there. And once you're done listening to us, go check them out. Until then, listen to us.
Right.
But once you're done, go listen to them because they're great dudes and they do a great job.
Yeah, their show's fantastic. And what did they say today? They had Mason.
Yeah.
On the show today. So you guys definitely want to check that out.
From what they were telling me, they got some sort of story that's never been told before.
That's what I
Something
hear.
pretty cool with LeBron.
That's what I hear. So that's actually pretty cool. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait till we're
they do a
done,
really
'cause
good
I'm
job
gonna
over there,
listen.
and they helped us out. So go check them out. Just not right this second.
Right. Anyways, since last week's show, the Tigers have basically fallen off the planet because we all kind of knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
However, the Detroit Lions, do what the Detroit Lions do. They managed
are
to
the
snatch
Lions.
defeat from the jaws of victory. Now, Frank, you being the resident Lions fan in the room, as people know that me and Joe despise the Detroit Lions.
Absolutely.
Yes, you guys don't mince words.
You are
when it comes to that topic.
a Lions fan, so the floor is yours, sir.
So, there is no good way to put this. More or less, what I'm looking at with this game, we don't have preseason right now. So this is kind of where all the kinks are going to get ironed out, but we're going to have to do it in real time. Two things I take away from this. I'm not in panic mode to the extent that everybody else is. The fact that AP almost hit 100 yards, and we don't usually tend to get running backs who hit 100 yards in a game, but 5 times in the last, I want to say 4 years?
That in itself it says something
Yeah.
major about this franchise. But sorry, go ahead.
No, and I totally agree with you, but I'm trying to find the silver lining in the shit show that was the Chicago Bears game.
Yes.
The other thing that I take away from it is Chicago piled those points on in the fourth quarter. We were down 2 cornerbacks already.
Wait, I thought that was dagger time. What happened? What happened at dagger time? Is that not a thing?
I'm not going to say it's not a thing, but we have to take the wins where we can get them, and essentially the fact that we were down our 2 starting corners on top of not even having our first round draft pick playing, regardless of if that was because he was hurt or just not capable of playing. It's a Yeah, I'm trying to take a positive away from the whole situation.
23 to 6, Frank.
Yeah.
23 to 6, Frank.
Right, and that's where, I get what you guys are going to get at. And trust me, as soon as I'm done making my 2 points, the floor will be yours to just decimate this team, which is very well deserved after that shit show. So, boys, the only defenses I got are corners and the fact that the running game looked like it might not be completely helpless.
Fair enough. I went to a buddy's house to watch the game. It was a bunch of people, all Lions fans or whatever, and I was the only one there, not a Lions fan. I was wearing my Bills stuff, and they were giving me a little bit of shit for it, and I'm like, that's fine. I was like, I'm done with this franchise. I've been done for about a year and a half, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Joe, you've been off the bandwagon for significantly longer than I have.
A lot of years now.
Yeah.
A lot of years.
And
I'm happy about that.
Exactly. So after the game, just looking through social media, because I was waiting to see Lions Slappy blame DeAndre Swift for that loss. He didn't help, obviously. That was completely unexpected and very loud in my ears.
I was going to say, nobody but Joe knew that was about to happen.
No. Anyways.
But it's a circus.
It is a circus. And
There's no other word for it at this point.
I will get to that.
It's a clown show.
It is. So I was looking to see if the Lions honks were going to blame DeAndre Swift. And, of course, there were idiots out there that blamed DeAndre Swift for this loss. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, he should have never been in that position to begin with. Granted, yeah, if you are in that position, you got to catch that. You have to.
100%.
Fair enough. But then I saw...
But it's also a rookie mistake in his first game.
It is. So I'm not going to kill the kid for it. But, to say they lost because of him is just ignorant. I'm sorry, it's fucking ignorant.
You gave up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
To Mitch fucking Trubisky. To Mitch fucking Trubisky.
Like, to almost argue myself, regardless of the fact that we were down our first 2 corners.
Right.
You got to have some sort of depth on this team. And trust me, I appreciate the fact we have starters who belong in the NFL at this point, but you got to work on depth now, guys.
Yes. So going through social media and after seeing, Lions honks blaming DeAndre Swift, I saw some national people. And I forgot who it was, exactly who it was, and they put, Lions fans deserve better. And I thought about it for a minute, and I'm like, you know what?
No,
they don't. They don't deserve better. You fuckers, every fucking year, back this team. And you know what's going to happen every fucking year. And then you get mad about it. For what? Why do you get mad about it? I don't understand. And I was a Lions fan for the majority of my life, so I get it. But it's dumb. It's incredibly dumb. Once you realize that the Lions will never give you anything of significance to root about, you'll be so much better off. Like, honestly, think about it. Besides Barry and Calvin, what have they given you? What? And those guys
The
quit.
fact it's taking me this long to answer the question tells you.
And those guys quit because they were fucking sick of it.
literally quit.
Because they were sick of it. Because it'll never change. Because that franchise knows they have you.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, they have you.
Absolutely.
Like, you're gonna buy your season tickets, you're gonna buy your beers, you're gonna buy your apparel and shit like that. So there's no impetus for this organization to change. None. Because it's almost like a cult. Their fan base is almost like a cult. Seriously.
It really is.
Like,
No, you're right.
It's amazing to me. And the fact that you people put up with this shit every year and think it's gonna change is mind-boggling to me.
The only thing I'll say is, up until last year, you were.
As I just said
were
that,
you people.
yeah. So I understand it. I
Right.
get it.
Right.
But once you get to the point where you stop letting the Detroit Lions negatively affect your mood, oh my God, it's life changing.
I can't say that they've negatively affected my mood in recent years. I mean, there's been a few times where I've expected something and been let down greatly, but we were even all talking during that game. I walked out of my car, went into work, and just enjoy the rest of my night. The second before that interception happened. So I ended that game with one hell of a football game on my mind.
Right.
I went on about work, and if it wasn't for the fact that you guys told me that they fucked it up, I wouldn't even know.
The best part of that was when the people I was watching with was just watching it unfold and like knowing it was going to happen.
Right.
Oh,
And
you knew it was
knowing
coming.
it was going to. And these guys are like, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We've all seen this movie for the better part of 60 years. It's going. You know it's going to happen.
It's the most remade movie ever.
You know it's going, and it did. And I laughed. I laughed hysterically the entire
Same
time.
story, different people.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on it. Joe, I'm sure you have some.
Joe has been unexpectedly silent
He has been.
through most of this.
Well, I'm letting you guys get your thoughts out on it. I think at this point, my thoughts on the Lions are, it's expected. I hate that franchise.
Your thoughts are, why are they still a franchise?
My thoughts are, why are there any fans for this franchise?
This is why I wish we had
Why?
relegation in this country. Because honestly, I don't think the Lions would ever get back to the NFL.
No, they wouldn't. And I can't say anything much better about it because I've become a Cleveland Browns fan. But again, I did it the same reason you became a Buffalo Bills fan. They never won anything. Now Buffalo went to 4 straight Super Bowls, but they shit the bed in every one of them.
But at least they've been there.
But they've been there. They've been there.
Yeah.
Cleveland actually won a playoff game more recently than the Lions, and yet they're looked at by Lions fans as the worst franchise, worse than them. It's insane to me. And being an ex-Lions fan and knowing what you go through, I despise that franchise for putting their fans through that. I really do. I despise them for putting their fans through that because they don't give a shit
They don't.
about any fans. They don't give a shit what they give you. They put out a crap product all the time and are just okay with it. And they expect you to be okay with it. And you are. You are okay with
But
it.
that's not, you gotta put that on the fans though. You have to. You gotta demand change. You have to demand change.
You're right, you do. But also as a franchise, as a company who's giving somebody a fucking product, you have to give them a product worthwhile. And all they do is put out a shit product every year. And every year, the fans eat it up and go, it's going to be different this year. I swear to Christ, I've made this decision before. I've made this assumption before, and it's the truth. I can't even spell my words out right now. even not liking this franchise, they piss me off. Because the fans in this city deserve better. The fans who want to see a winning football team deserve better. It's shit. I can't get over the fact that they're still putting this crap out on a field, and people are still watching this, they're still paying money for it, and it's ridiculous to me. I'm tired of this shit. There has to be some sort of fucking change.
Well, you were kind of a part of that Dylan Van March years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But you think about it, and this is why I think it's a cult mentality, because that really didn't do anything. It didn't. It did for, what, like half a year maybe? And then people just kept coming back. And coming back. And then the argument is, don't go to games. Well, you know, there's some sucker just lined up behind just to buy those tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody
you know,
is
yeah.
at games right now.
Well, no.
But you know what I'm saying. You know,
Right. But
yes.
listen, if you could go to a game right now, they would fucking sell out.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
That we would be a sold out stadium.
I remember days when we were younger, much younger, where the Lions actually weren't even on television because they couldn't sell
Yeah, the
tickets.
blackouts.
That is
Yeah.
what needs to happen at this point.
You know,
That's how you start to get change.
Well, Chris, you hit it right on the head. Fans need to demand change. You have to demand change. You can't just keep buying the same shit product and expect the company to put out a better product. You have to stop buying the product at a certain point,
Right.
and then they'll change.
Mhm.
They won't change until there's change demanded from them.
Right.
And as long as you keep investing in the company and you keep giving them money, they don't give two shits.
But this is where the Lions have always been terrible, and it's just an absolute abomination. Matt Patricia should have been fired after last season. I'm sorry, he should have
Yeah,
been gone.
absolutely.
Gone.
Absolutely.
And of course, the Lions, being the way they are, no, we'll give you another year. You'll turn it around. Dude, this guy's not a good head coach. He's not.
No, he's not.
Especially
He's a
that-
great defensive coordinator. He's a
Fair enough.
terrible head coach.
And
He's
he's
not even a great defensive coordinator, I'm sorry.
He was a great defensive coordinator
on one play.
where he was coaching at.
On-
If that was a result of his head
Yeah.
coach, I
You
don't
know where I'm
know.
going with this.
Okay, I'm gonna go with you on this one. He was a great defensive coordinator for one play. One play that changes his career and his thought process and the way people look at him if they just run the fucking ball with Marshawn Lynch.
Right, exactly. But he used that as a reason why he is a good head coach after the game.
He did. Well, you know what that tells me?
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That tells me that he's feeling the pressure because he not only had to come back with something about how he's good,
Yeah.
he had to come back with something about how he's good, about being a defensive coordinator at a franchise he's not even at anymore. Bro, you weren't even the head coach there, and you weren't even with the Lions at that point in time. So you're stretching back to being a defensive coordinator on a play where you have no significance if they actually run the fucking ball with Marshawn Lynch.
Breathe, Joe.
It kills me this guy still has a job.
For somebody who hates this franchise so much, you really are passionate.
I love this city, and I think that fans deserve more. I gave up on them because I deserved more, and I was tired of it. It was the worst fucking relationship I've ever been in,
Yep.
and I've been in some fucking bad ones. So it was
No.
yeah, it was the worst relationship ever. It was every year I would come back, and Lions fans come back every year and say, "Oh, she's not going to hit me this year. She's not going to cheat on me this time. She's not going to treat me bad this time." And every year, she treats you like shit. She cheats on you. She goes out and gets a train run on her. And then she comes back to you and you take her back and go, "Well, you know what, honey? This next year is going to be different."
Oh yeah. And then the excuses. Oh, the NFL has a vendetta against us. Oh, we were robbed. Shut the fuck up. The NFL does not have a vendetta against you. Have there been some bad calls? Fair enough. There has been. However,
There's bad calls in every
There's
sport
bad calls.
against every team.
Right.
ever.
And you know what?
so like the New Orleans Saints, do they have a vendetta against them for the place
That
years
shit
ago
called the playoffs?
Yeah, like.
that cost them a Super Bowl.
But this is that franchise. The Lions franchise. It's such a loser fucking mentality with this franchise. It's excuse, blah blah blah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's not just the Lions fans. I'm gonna tell you, being that I'm a Cleveland Browns fan and I'm part of I'm a admin on a page, they say the same shit, and I get tired, but I call them out on it all the time too. I'm like, this is a loser mentality. Stop coming up with excuses. Your franchise is letting you down. Period.
It's not the NFL. It's not the officials. It's the people that are in charge of your franchise.
Period.
This
That's
is why
it.
you suck.
Done.
Starts with the old lady, all the way on down.
This is why you suck. It's not. It has nothing to do with who literally owns your franchise. Like, I'm sorry. Like Jerry Jones, I hate Jerry Jones with passion. That dude wants to win more than anything in life, I think. So I can appreciate that, but I can't stand him. But then you have these idiots that run this franchise, like we just talked about. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They have your money.
And see, that's
They
the
have your
thing
fan.
that I'm not going to say the thing that bothers me the most because, as I said, at this point, this is what I come to expect. I still love the team. It has to do with the fact that I do love this city, regardless of the fact that I do love Boston as well. Gross.
Yeah. We gotta talk about that.
But-
city.
But the city itself, yes, I
But
understand.
how sad is that you expect this? That's sad. That's incredibly sad, and frankly,
It is.
unacceptable.
Nope.
When
That's
that's,
unacceptable.
and that's where it's at with Lions fans. It's not even just and actually he's more realistic about it than most Lions fans.
He is. Oh,
And-
most
and
of
then-
them.
and
Yeah,
I try to just be honest about shit.
no, most of them looking through those Honolulu
Oh my god!
glasses. Holy
And
shit.
so I saw somebody post on Facebook today. They were pissed off that everybody was calling out Matt Stafford. I can't believe you guys are blaming Matt Stafford for this. If you're blaming Matt Stafford, you don't know football and you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, first of all, I don't know anybody that's blaming just Matt Stafford. I don't know a single person that's just blaming Matt Stafford.
I haven't seen like any of that.
But I have.
Oh,
but
they're just
not just Stafford,
Yeah, that's
but
what
I've
I'm
seen people blaming him as part of the blame. He owns part of the blame.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, you can't take that sack. You can't throw that interception in
Right.
double coverage.
Right.
You
Yeah,
yes,
that's a bad-
he made a pass to Swift, and he dropped it. He's a rookie. He hasn't had much training camp. It's a weird year. You can't blame him for that either. So it's if you want to blame anybody, blame the franchise collectively as a whole. Don't crucify the kid because he's not to blame. They had plenty of chances to win that game. They were up 23-6 in the fourth quarter. How do you blow that lead? Do you know Matt Patricia has more blown fourth quarter leads than he has actual fucking wins?
That does not even. That is a total Detroit Lions stat.
Yeah.
That
He
does
has-
not even remotely
He
surprise
has.
me.
I'm going to tell you this. He has 11 blown fourth quarter leads. He has 9 wins overall.
And wasn't this the team under Caldwell who was like the fourth quarter heroes? Like they were coming back in winning games in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
At the end
Under-
of his
under
tenure.
Caldwell?
Yeah, under his tenure.
Yeah, under the guy they shouldn't have gotten rid of
Yeah.
for this guy. Yeah, yep. That's the guy. Yep.
And 9-7, not good enough.
9-7 isn't good enough, but 3-13 is. And they bring back Quinn Trisha, the biggest fucking joke. It's a joke.
The Patriot way, baby.
It's a joke.
Patriot way.
It's a joke.
That-
I really have no other way to put it. It's
No,
a joke.
it is.
The fact that they still have jobs is a joke. The fact that there's not a different coach and a different general manager on this for this franchise right now is a joke.
Well, and not to mention, I think like the beat writers have a part in this as well. Like if this were going on in like say Philly or New York, there's no way in fucking hell either of those two have jobs.
If
Oh,
this is going
where
on
the-
in Philly right now, there's people out in front of the stadium with like makeshift dolls.
That's
and
my point.
from-
That's my point.
Absolutely.
And this, but even the beat writers and the media, they don't demand enough of this franchise.
Okay.
They don't. And they never have. They never. And as much as I don't
Well,
like a certain guy in this town.
They're shills.
Yeah, they are shills. They're absolute shills. But there's one guy in this town who I'm not a big fan of, but I agree with his assessment of this franchise.
Absolutely.
I'm in lockstep with him on his assessment of this franchise.
Well, and you know me, I don't agree with that certain person much, not a lot either.
Right.
I agree with his personality. When it comes to calling teams out, when it comes to being the way he is, I do agree with a lot of that. And when it comes to this franchise, when it comes to most football, actually, I agree. And with this franchise, I absolutely agree. There's a reason the Lions are on an AM station as an NFL
How
franchise.
fucking embarrassing is that?
Bro, it's ridiculous.
I work Sundays every third week, so I have to listen to the game on my way in. I usually catch about the first half. I forget that they're still on AM. I go on XM, I try to find the channel, can't find it.
Right.
Okay, why would they put the Lions on? That's fine. Then I go to FM 97.1. Cool. Well, they're not there either. Then I gotta go to AM radio. There's nothing on AM radio anymore. You could start your own FM channel and literally just put on your games.
That may be the worst thing ever.
Well,
It's still a better idea than AM radio.
that's a good point.
That's fair.
If the
That's
Lions,
fair.
if the Lions started their own FM network, it would be less of a back alley abortion than them still being on AM. It would be. I agree. It's no NFL franchise should be on an AM station. It's ridiculous.
And we were texting during this entire thing. So
Lions logic, baby.
what I'm saying to you guys is not news. It was the most uncomfortable situation listening to AM radio, listening to Lomas Brown, watching AP run.
Oh. Yeah, you were texting me.
Yeah.
You were getting very uncomfortable by that.
And he
You're
was,
basically.
The low down with Low Brown was,
Yeah.
he was all about it.
He loved him some
He
AP.
did.
and I don't blame him for that.
He
But
wanted
at the
apparently
same
he wanted
time,
some AD from AP.
I guess.
I
Send
don't
the
know.
call.
But it was just like, this is, and put the 2020 jokes aside, but this is 2020. There are so many options of ways to listen to a game. Why is the only one for this franchise AM radio?
Because they're the Detroit Lions, and they never do anything fucking right besides draft Barry Sanders.
Well, and being that this is 2020,
And maybe Calvin
And maybe
Johnson.
Calvin Johnson.
well, and being that this is 2020, and we've had such a weird, fucked up year, how is it that the Lions come out and actually make the year feel better?
No,
Yeah.
100% normal.
By shitting the bed
Yeah.
in a fourth quarter and going, and it makes everybody look around and
They're
go,
like, that's normal.
Okay, you know what? We're getting back to normal now.
Yeah, that's
All right,
that's
we're
a sense of
finally getting back to
normalcy. All
normal.
It was
right.
almost my happiest moment of 2020. Just
I-
because it was
can-
normal.
I can tell you for a fact it was my happiest moment.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, that made my day.
It
It
did.
really did.
Anytime anything bad happens to that franchise, you guys instantly.
Well, we
take
said that in the text message, and it was true. It was true. It really did make my day. Well, that and my new bed frame coming in because I was tired of sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, that's fair.
But my Sunday was made by the Lions losing
Yeah.
and getting a new bed frame. Like how?
Like,
fucking
That's
sad
how
is
low the bar has
That was
been set
great.
for
Like,
you.
Exactly.
I walked out of my buddy's
Exactly.
garage and I would laugh all the way in my car and all the way back home. I just laughed because it was glorious. Because you know it's coming and it does, and it's like, yep, there it is.
There it is.
But again, if you've been watching this franchise for as long as we have, that's also exactly what you expected to happen.
Yeah, it is, and that's why I kept saying to the guys I was watching it. I was like, it's coming. Just wait for it. It's not going to happen. Yes, it is.
It always is going to happen.
It's like you've seen this movie. You know how it ends. And
if it hasn't happened yet, just wait.
Yep.
Because there's a way it's going to happen.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh my god. Anyways.
Are we done bashing this fucking Lions franchise right now?
Yeah, let's talk about something positive here, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Are you tired of going from dealership to dealership looking for an automobile or boat? You got to get in touch with the guys at Land & Sea Motorsports. I mean, they specialize in finding you the car, truck, or boat that you're in the market for. These guys, Joe, you know them, like Nate the boys.
Yeah.
They know their shit.
They know their shit. They do a great job over there.
All you need to do when you get in touch with Land & Sea is tell them the type of vehicle and features you want, and they'll find something that'll fit within your budget. They also do shrink wrapping and winterization for boats and jet skis, which, you know, let's get to that time of year, so I think, you know, that's definitely something to look into.
Yeah, everybody's thinking about putting their boats away off of Lake St. Clair, so.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, they could definitely do that for you. Also, you know, if your automobile or your boat's got any dings or just needs some cleaning, they got a full detail division as well. So give them a call at 586-484-9798 or visit their website at landandseamotorsports.com. That's Land & Sea Motorsports. I think it was all right. It was better than the last one I did.
That was good job, man. Good job. We were just trying to get rid of the train noise we could hear behind.
Yeah, I heard that in the
I
background.
didn't even know there was a train around here. Here we got the window open a little bit to get some air in
I
here.
thought
We're
you were
in a
just
train.
Main Street, yeah.
Oh.
I thought you were being funny and playing the train sound for
No.
the train joke I made earlier.
Yeah. No, not at all.
I saw it, I was like, oh,
no, I
that's
mean-
not planned.
Yeah, no, that wasn't planned. That wasn't a joke on the Lions running a train on you and then you taking them back. That was.
Like I said in the blog, we're learning. We're
Yeah.
learning things. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
these things are going to happen from time to time.
We definitely appreciate everybody sticking around with us, and through our audio issues last week, we've got them figured out this week, thanks to some friends. And I also want to give a shout out to Mike Brooks, our friend who helped us out throughout the week to help get us in a good situation too. So definitely was a great friend.
Joe was losing his shit this weekend.
Yeah, I definitely was. Not as bad as the Browns lost their shit though.
Ooh, talk about a fucking
Oh my
whooping.
God,
They got beat like they stole something.
But can you really say you expected anything else? I'm not saying this because it's the Browns. I'm saying this because the Ravens are the Ravens.
That's
And the
true.
Browns are still working out those
But
problems.
you got to be competitive, man.
Well,
Oh, I agree 100%.
yeah, and that's my biggest gripe about it. And I would just want to give our website a shout out right now. Go to sotdet.com. Check out the fantasy insight and the fantasy rankings for the week. They're up for week 1. We're going to be putting them up for week 2, and Wednesday into Thursday. And if you go there and check it out, I will say that I definitely put out there that you should not start Baker Mayfield.
Ever.
You should not. Well, definitely not this last week. You should not have started OBJ.
Ever.
You should not have expected anything from this franchise against this team because, listen, it was bad matchups. Baltimore is probably the best team in the league on both sides of the ball. Definitely on the defensive side of the ball, I think. I believe they're top 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to have a hard time stopping them. They beat themselves in the playoffs last year. It wasn't necessarily that they got beat. They beat themselves by not coming out and adjusting to anything.
They were ready for that running game.
No, they weren't. And
I don't think they were ready for either game.
No.
they're basically top 1 or 2 franchises in the league right now as far as both sides of the ball. And if anybody expected anything different, they're crazy. As a fan, it does suck to see your team get stomped by like that. But as long as you got to kind of know what your expectations are as a franchise and as a fan.
Yeah.
And looking at that game, my expectations were not that they were going to win that game, and my expectations weren't even that they were going to be close. I mean, I wish I'd seen more effort, but that's really what bothers me is they didn't get much effort. New coach, new head coach. You're going to see franchises that have new head coaches that have a lot of new players on the team, like Tampa Bay, like Cleveland, franchises that needed a full offseason and didn't get that. Franchises that needed some preseason games and didn't get that. You're not going to see fluid football out of some of these franchises for the first couple weeks. It's going to take a little bit for them to get into it.
Definitely.
Yeah. I was gonna second that. That was one of the things I wanted to get into, especially about week 1 in the NFL. Man, there were some really, really sloppy games. Like, it was really sloppy football.
Yep.
And obviously it's been a completely different offseason than any in maybe ever.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Yeah.
I did have a couple takeaways, though. Drew Brees and Tom Brady, they just look old. They look old.
They do. We talked about it last week
Yeah.
on the show, and if you made it through it, we appreciate it. And if you made it through it, you heard us talk about how really, I just believe Drew Brees' arm is done at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, and who can say it's who could say anything different? I mean, he's 40-some years old, right?
But the funny thing about that is I texted you, and like right after I sent the text, he drops
42
40
yards.
Oh, I know.
Dying.
I know. Well, which is, you're still going to get some of that from him, but basically, you're not going to be getting the long passes from him. It's dink and dunk. That's why Michael Thomas catches 120 balls a year.
Not this year.
Well, and he might be out for a few weeks now, so keep an eye on that.
That's really
Fantasy
really
spoiler.
gonna hurt.
Yes, fantasy
That's gonna
spoiler.
hurt Drew. Like,
Oh,
big time.
yeah, absolutely. Who do they have behind him? They have Alvin Kamara
I
out
was
of the
gonna say,
backfield.
you're running the ball or using
They got-
screen passes or
they have
slant
Jared-
passes out of the backfield.
Yeah, they have Jared Cook, Alvin Kamara. Jared Cook is really nothing special. You've got Alvin Kamara. Who's the wide receivers behind him, though? Like, you don't have big-name guys. I think Traquan Smith is one of them. You got Emmanuel Sanders, but he's not a number one anywhere. I mean, he's moved around. That's a huge loss for New Orleans. Drew Brees isn't going to be able to make up for that.
No. And another way, it's so funny, like how the Cowboys get hyped every year. And don't get me wrong, I think the Rams are going to be better
Yeah.
this year. And it was their home opener, but they didn't have any fans, so it's like, okay, that's.
I'm very mad at myself. I picked LA to win that game,
Yeah.
and then changed it at the last minute. I had a feeling about that game, and I
Yeah.
picked them to win, and then I changed it last minute because I just, for some reason, I got talked into it by listening to other people talk, and I was
Because they
like,
hype up the Cowboys
and all the
every
time, man,
fucking
all the
year.
time, all the time.
Dak's gonna lead them to the promised land. Okay, all right, yeah, all right. Sounds good.
Zeke
Every
went
year.
off though. Zeke always goes off.
Well,
He
Zeke-
did go
I
off
mean,
again.
Zeke is Zeke, man. I mean, he's
He's arguably the best running back in football.
arguably. I don't think he is.
I
It's
don't think he is,
arguable.
but you can make the argument.
You can make the argument.
One guy I think who deserves to be on that list now, Joe, you were talking about him last week, Josh Jacobs.
Absolutely.
3 touchdowns again.
Listen, at the beginning of the season, I kept telling everybody, Josh Jacobs could be a top 5 running back in this league by the end of the season. And he came out week 1 and basically showed why people think that, why people like me think that. He's got everything it takes to be a lead back in this league. He's got everything it takes to be a top 5 running back. He's very talented, and if they use him correctly behind a good offensive line, I mean, he's going to run wild. And he did. He showed this weekend what he can do.
And they're running Ruggs out of the backfield too, which is going to be a nice change of pace.
Well, Ruggs is kind of like that Tyreek Hill type of player. Is you're going to be able to get like they used to use Tyreek Hill out of the backfield a little more than they do now. When
They
first
used to more like
drafted
a
him.
Cordell Patterson?
Yeah, yep. So they're going to be able to use Ruggs like that. Ruggs is the speed guy on that team, and they're going to be able to get some good things out of those young guys. Jacobs, Ruggs, Waller. That's a hell of a team, and if Gruden can right that ship a little bit more, they're going to be competitive.
You got, I mean, his stat line, you look at it, 25 for 93 carries. Then you got 4 receptions for 46 yards.
Well, which is
That is top back numbers.
well, and that's one of those things that you got to look at with a guy like him is they didn't throw the ball to him much last year. If they could
Right.
throw the ball out of the backfield to him a little more this year, he's definitely top back, definitely.
Yep.
A couple more things that stood out to me. I honestly I thought Cam looked good. I did.
I really agree
Because
with
I
you.
think I think Josh McDaniels, yeah, I think he tailored this is what a smart coach should do. You tailor your offense or your defense to the personnel that you have, and this is exactly what he's done with Cam.
Absolutely.
And Cam looked good. Kyler Murray looked fucking fantastic.
Listen, I've been
Holy shit, dude! I was very skeptical of Kyler Murray.
I've been on that hype train since he got drafted.
You have.
Yeah.
I was not a believer, but the way he just went into the 49ers house and the game he put up.
Listen,
That's why I said I was interested to see what they did.
I've been the conductor on that hype train since
Yeah,
day
you
one,
have.
pretty
And
much.
DeAndre
But-
Hopkins have a game, dude. Like 14 catches.
See, now that's the one that I got wrong this year. Is I didn't think he was going to have as good a year this year because there's a lot of weapons to throw the ball
Yeah.
to in Arizona, and they're going to use all the weapons. But this last game, man, 14 catches. I mean, that's impressive, brother. That's
Buck 50
impressive.
that he went off for.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had a monster day.
yeah.
But you guys are talking about Cam.
Yep.
I just pulled up his stats. 15 for 19 for 155 yards.
That's fine.
Nothing special.
No, how many rushing yards do you have?
75.
Yep, 15 carries for 75 yards.
Okay, two touchdowns.
There you go. That's Cam Newton.
If Cam,
Thank you.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point I was
That's
getting
Cam
to.
Newton.
If Cam Newton can be that Cam Newton, what I said last week's 100% wrong.
Yep.
I don't think Bill Belichick knows how to lose. I don't.
I also
That-
don't
holy
know
shit, hold
that
on.
Cam knows how to stay healthy.
Hold on.
That's gonna be the big.
Hold on.
Right.
Did you just give Bill Belichick a
He gave credit where credit's due.
wow? I don't think he knows how to lose.
You
hate the guy.
I don't hate
I'm
Bill
a-
Belichick.
I thought you did.
No,
You
I hate the
hate
Patriots.
Oh,
But I
okay.
don't have anything against Belichick.
Okay. All right. See,
I was gonna say, if you're a fan of football, you have to respect.
I totally thought you hated.
No. Just the Patriots because I hate their fucking fans. And,
Oh.
no.
Well, go fuck yourself.
There are other reasons too.
Yeah.
But no, I've never hated Bill Belichick. I think the guy's a freaking genius when it comes to X's and O's. The guy's brilliant.
And Subway commercials.
And apparently Subway commercials now too, which that's just weird. But I was like, okay.
Yeah. Seeing Bill Belichick on a commercial.
Yeah,
it's a little strange.
it was a bit strange.
Like, bro, you actually have a personality?
Right.
What?
Not a great one, but he has
Well, no,
one.
but he has one.
And then like go back to the NFC North, because obviously we talked about the shitty franchise that plays in Detroit. That Packers Vikings game.
Ooh.
Yeah, boy,
That was a
I've gotten a
shootout.
pick on Minnesota
Good
go wrong.
Lord.
Yeah, I mean, what was that? 43-34.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a
That was a
game.
shootout.
Kirk Cousins actually had a hell of a game.
19 for 25.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Not bad numbers.
for him. It's good numbers. You know,
Like
it's
for him.
well. I mean, listen, it's
for him.
it is. I mean, let's face it. He's not the best gunslinger in the league,
No, no.
but he, you know, it was a good game for him, and they were competitive. I mean, Green Bay ended up taking them in the end, but I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, that's what he does.
Aaron Rodgers. What do you expect from Aaron Rodgers anymore? Like every year, people expect him to fall off, and he just comes back every year, and it's
Right.
like, no,
No, I'm still here.
no.
And then my Bills took care of business, but there was one play, and I think I sent one of you two the text on this past Sunday. Josh Allen rolls out of the pocket. There's a receiver wide open in the end zone, not a dude within 10 yards of him, and he throws it.
Send that to me.
He throws it in the stands.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude.
That was-
I'm like, that's my quarterback. I'm like, T.O., that's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback.
You know?
That's my
I
quarterback.
couldn't believe it. I mean, they ended up
But
scoring,
again,
but
those are things that you just have to accept being a Bills fan.
apparently.
Did they end up scoring with the Zach Moss?
I think so, yeah. I think they ended up, but it was just like, I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that's something like Dan Orlovsky or some guy
Yeah,
going to, you know?
right. Well, Dan Orlovsky
Ran
runs out of the back of the end zone,
but it'd be like a Lion-esque thing to do, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It's just kind of like, what the fuck is
He's
that?
also like touted as one of the smartest quarterbacks now, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
Orlovsky.
He is. He's touted as one of the smartest guys in the room when it comes to being an analyst for football. ESPN has moved him up the ladder so fast, and I don't know why.
That I want to get into a little bit. Just watching the game, watching Monday Night Football last night, like the actual booth, the second game, the Broncos and the Titans game. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch it or not.
No, I did not.
Yeah, I did
All
watch
right,
it.
so what are your thoughts on the new booth without Booger and those guys?
Okay, so I think they could do without Brian Gracie.
Okay.
I think Levy and Riddick make a good team. I'm a huge fan of Riddick as an analyst.
Yeah.
I think he does a great job. I think he knows his shit.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed when he was on, even when they have him as a guest on the fantasy football shows. He really brings some good insight. He's actually won some pretty big fantasy leagues, and he just got into doing it a couple of years
Oh,
ago.
is that right?
Yeah, and because he's so smart about the game. I mean, he really knows his shit. I enjoy listening to him talk about football, and that's what you get when somebody knows what they're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like I'm fine with Gracie in there. I mean, it's a significant upgrade than what it was.
Oh,
and granted, the bar was incredibly low.
Yeah.
But-
as long as they got Booger McFarland out of there, it was going to be an
Yeah,
upgrade.
the guy was.
I mean,
terrible. But what I did like is with Herb Street and Fowler calling the first game last night.
It was pretty good.
What they did, I mean, I don't know if it's a huge transition from calling a college game to an NFL game,
Yeah.
but if there is, they made the transition seamless. They sounded great.
Right.
They were
I don't want to
fantastic.
say that's the booth everybody wanted, but That's the booth most people were asking for.
What, Fowler and
Herbstreit, yeah.
I would have been okay with it. Those guys together are
They've got chemistry.
yeah, they were.
I would have been okay with
Easy to
it.
listen to.
I would have been okay with it, but
I think college.
to me, I still, when I hear them, I see college
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
And that was what I had a problem with. Is I didn't think they did a bad job. I just, when I hear their voices, I think college football.
Okay.
And we're talking about things we like and we don't like. Nobody likes plumbing issues. If you've had any plumbing problems, well, you're definitely not alone.
No, they're not very good.
You're not alone on that one. If you've had plumbing problems at your current house, or if you've moved recently, like Frank, I know you're looking at moving possibly.
Keep
So,
trying.
yeah, so when you get into a house, you don't like plumbing problems, the next time you have an issue, there's only one place to go. Call Go To Pro Plumbing. They're a local, family-owned company with 15 years of experience. They're based in Centerline. They serve the Metro Detroit areas, keeping your pipes and your neighbor's pipes flowing with fair prices and happy customers. Are you sick of having to take a sick day from work waiting for a plumber? Then call Go To Pro Plumbing. They're open. Go To Pro Plumbing. They're open 7 days a week for all of your plumbing needs. The knowledgeable and experienced staff and technicians will keep you informed of their progress every step of the way to make your experience as smooth as possible. Call Go To Pro Plumbing today at 586-250-2881. That's 586-250-2881. Go To Pro Plumbing. When your pipes won't flow, call the pro.
That's a great tagline.
It really is.
I love that.
It really
That's
is.
fantastic.
It's a great tagline.
That's a really great
And
tagline.
they do a good job at plumbing, and they do a good job at creating taglines.
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. That's something. It's like by Menon, but different.
Bye, man.
Right.
We're gonna have to cut that.
I was gonna say, don't be giving any free
We're
ads.
gonna have to cut that.
We're established now. We charge for those things.
That's true. Yes. Oh my God.
All right, so I think next, what are we getting into next, boys? What's on tap next?
I have no idea. I saw the Dallas Stars are somehow going to the Stanley Cup final last night.
They are, and you know what? We were texting about that too, and I really started. I chuckle laughed when I forget which one of you said it. Maybe they'll actually be able to win a Stanley Cup without being in the crease.
Yeah, like they'll actually, yeah, without actually, scoring an illegal goal.
Yeah. So I mean that's
Because of that, I almost don't want them to win.
because
That's a lot of
because
hatred.
that happens, right? That's, well, if you don't know
We
anything-
established this in a prior life.
We did, yeah.
I don't let go of things.
Yeah, clearly.
My brother's at home going, I know this.
his sports hatred, well, especially sports hatred, his hatred or his grudges, they last.
They run deep,
They
apparently.
run deep and they last.
Which-
Yes.
At that point, it was a rule. You and I both talked about it.
We
It
did,
was
yeah.
super obvious.
Yeah.
Still to this day, Dom's first cup should have been with Buffalo.
It should have been. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
who knows what would have happened?
Yeah,
the rest of that
and
game,
that's-
but I
that's
think
fair.
you're saying, yeah.
But there should have been a chance for
Yeah.
Dom's first cup to have been in
Yes, I agree
Yeah.
with that. And the reason, one of the main factors that led to that goal last night, and it was in overtime,
Right.
is to me it's one of the dumbest rules in sports. Is to delay a game if you put the puck over the glass without it hitting the glass in your own zone. It's a dumb rule. I can't stand it. Like
It's a great rule if it really was a problem.
it is a problem.
No, I'm saying if somebody clearing the
Oh,
ball
yeah.
out of
Well,
play
you're right, yeah.
to stop play
Right.
was an actual problem.
yeah.
That's a great rule.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just
But it doesn't happen enough to
it doesn't.
to
And
instill a rule.
and to
Reinstate
say
it.
that he did it on purpose. Come on, who are you to decide that? Like
Right.
like I texted you last night. You're coming around. Trying to get the puck and it flips on edge, and you go to throw it off the boards and it goes over. Like, and you're gonna call him for a penalty on that?
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? And then it leads to something like what happened last night, that your Knights get eliminated because they're killing a penalty that they shouldn't have to kill.
Right.
And it's like, come on, man, like what a joke, like that. What if this happens in the Stanley Cup final? Like, say a game winner, say a cup winning goal is scored like that. on that.
I would like to say, as a hockey fan, I would like to say that it creates a conversation and leads to a rule change. But no,
All the NHL does is change rules.
right. But at the same time, how often do they change the rules that need to be changed on time?
But that's the NHL. They never do anything. They're like the Lions. They never do anything.
They'll do everything they're supposed to 5 years later.
Exactly.
Well, And baseball's even farther behind that. Baseball doesn't change anything to save their lives.
And then
Ever.
when they do change stuff, it's just like, wait, what? Like, why are you?
Yeah, it's like out
What?
of the, it's like out of the box weird stuff
Yeah,
that they're
like
that
this
they're-
batter minimum. Like, what? Okay,
Yeah, it's so you got the baseball elitists that don't want to instill instant replay, but yet they're gonna change rules like having a 3-batter minimum for a relief pitch. What the?
it does.
What?
All to speed up the game, when in actuality, all you have to do is actually enforce the current rules that you had.
Right.
Like,
so,
stop stepping out of the fucking box. You get literally 15 seconds between pitches. Go.
So I was looking last night after you talked about that. I got to thinking about other rules in sports that are just absurd, that are just really dumb, right?
Okay.
And can you think of any? I mean, I pulled up a list here that I like.
The one rule I always used to hate was the 2-line pass rule in hockey.
Okay.
I thought that slowed down gameplay. I thought it was pointless, especially for the game that they're trying to currently turn hockey back into. If that was the goal, then you totally missed the boat on that. So eliminating it was the smartest thing they could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't like the trapezoid rule in the NHL either. I can't say, let the goalies go out and play it. You know what, if you want to keep the trapezoid, that's fine, but if they're outside of it, they're fair game.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree 100%.
Fun.
Well, so speaking of hockey, points for overtime losses in hockey.
No?
No.
That's a shit rule.
You should,
Why?
if you tie, you should not get a point. I'm sorry.
If you lose, you shouldn't get a point. Like that's
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like you get a point for going into overtime. That's stupid. That's
Yeah.
completely dumb.
I'm not a fan of it, but it's also always been the rule, so I don't really know any other way.
Yeah, it's
It's difficult to say because
it hasn't,
it is. It's
but
a
it
dumb
hasn't.
rule.
It hasn't always been the rule though. It hasn't always been you get a point.
In my watching lifetime,
Oh. Yeah,
I mean,
it's just,
even
it's
growing
cra-
up playing, it was always you got 1 point for going into overtime.
It's just crazy. I mean, that's if you lose, you lose. Period.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Here's one that somebody came up with, but I don't agree with this one. I think it's still a good rule. Is intentional walks in baseball. I still think you need to be able to intentionally walk. It's part of the strategy.
Yeah, you should have to
I
throw
don't
it.
understand why somebody would put that on a list of bad rules.
You should have to throw it. You should have to throw it all four. Absolutely, you should.
Yeah, and
I agree that you should have to throw them.
Yeah,
you should have to throw to him.
Mhm.
absolutely, you should.
You shouldn't be allowed to intentionally walk a batter.
No, you
You can intentionally walk them, but
But
you
you-
have to throw the
yeah.
ball all
you have
four
to actually.
times.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think you should be worrying about saving the pitcher's arm if he wants to walk him. Then throw
Yeah.
4 balls.
Throw 4 balls and let him walk.
And
And
if somebody goes Miggy on you who gets a piece of one,
Right.
then sucks to suck.
Yeah, then too bad. You should have thrown it farther outside. I mean,
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. And they actually bring up the goaltender trapezoid that you just brought up, Chris.
Oh,
Is,
yeah,
they bring that up as a dumb rule.
It's a stupid rule. Like
Yep.
I don't understand like what it does for the game. It doesn't speed it up. It doesn't slow it down. It's just there to be there. You know.
Well,
I don't
Still, the only goaltender physicalness that comes to mind in recent memory is, what was it, Gaborik and Hasek?
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been prevented by a trapezoid. That literally, the trapezoid doesn't do anything for that.
No.
Can you think of more contact that's happened that you would have to protect a goalie from in recent years?
I think the whole point of the rule was so that the players would actually have to go back and like play the puck. You
Yep.
know, and I get that, but I think that play would move more smooth if the goalie came out and played.
Yeah, if the goalie could come out and play the puck,
Right.
it would actually make it a
So
smoother.
I don't see the point of that rule.
They
It's
also
so dumb.
kind of come out and not necessarily block the puck, but
Right.
they kind of shadow the puck until it hits the trapezoid at this point.
Right.
anyways.
Yeah. Here's one that I completely agree this should not be a rule. Down without contact in college football.
I don't even
Oh,
understand why that is a
100%.
rule.
That's one of the dumbest rules that I disagree with. I can't stand it.
I can't stand it either. The other one I can't stand. I'm sorry.
1 foot for catch too.
It should be 2.
It should be.
Yeah,
two.
it should be two.
In
Both
college
feet.
or NFL.
Yeah.
Period.
And pass interference should be spot foul, not 15 yards.
Right. Yeah.
100%
I agree with that too.
100% agree.
Well, that's the NCAA for you though.
Well, talk about rules.
I know.
Talk about stupid rules.
I know.
That organization, period, is full of them, as we all know. But,
Well, in this one, here's one that they bring up, and
Yeah.
I agree with it. But I think they've tried to change it, but you this is one of those rules where you have to take into account people seeing things differently, although some of them are pretty blatant.
Judgment
And,
calls.
yeah, interference discrepancy in the NFL. Interference calls sometimes come down to judgment. Now, sometimes I think they call ticky-tacky fouls when they shouldn't.
Right.
Now, other times they don't call things where they should, like the Saints in the playoffs.
Oh,
That should have definitely been called. So that's one that's hard to really narrow down because you're talking about things that are you leave it up to the human to determine. You know what I mean? Like some of those things you can't come up with a strict flat, no matter what.
No,
this is what it is.
You
know what I mean?
can't. It's
But there's also common sense. So
common sense, which is, a lot of people seem to
Least
lack these
common
days.
thing.
yeah,
Oh my goodness. Yes, people seem to definitely lack basic common sense, I suppose.
yeah. Well, and here they bring up the 1 foot in bounds as a catch,
Yeah.
which we just talked about.
Yeah, it's
A lot of NFL, like a lot of football ones.
There are a lot of football ones. There's a lot. They were talking about here. What is this? One? Stroke and distance rule in golf. I don't know what that is.
I was gonna say I don't watch.
I'm not a huge golf person, but
Nothing against golf. I just don't have any interest in it.
see, I see. You guys know I like golf, so I don't even know what the hell that rule is. Wait, what?
yeah.
What is that? Oh my god.
There's certain things though that I look at and go, okay, you look at traveling in basketball and the fact that that's become such a loosely called rule.
Especially if certain people have the ball, yes.
Oh well, yeah.
Yes.
You got to factor in the superstars
Yes.
and all. Yeah. What I'm not gonna say I don't understand, but what I don't agree with is the fact that that went from a black and white rule to a judgment call somehow.
Yeah, because they want to see certain players make star plays, make great
Yeah, but
plays. They get on sports.
Those are the type of rules that I feel like we don't really have a place for in sports.
I don't know.
So I'm not necessarily saying that they're dumb,
Yeah.
but they're rules that need to be addressed, rules that need to be changed more than, some of the dumb shit that they got on this list.
Yeah. Well, here's one that I agree with. No, there's no game clock in soccer. The fact that just the ref on the field has the game clock. And
Yeah,
nobody
the stoppage time is,
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
And then, because you're a football guy,
I'm a football guy, yes.
I mean, I'm
what
not as
is-
much
what
as him,
is
but I play.
stoppage time?
Basically, it's for anything that is not going on during the game. So like a goal is celebrated or an
Yeah.
injury, the ref just keeps the time on his watch and then marks down every time like play is not going on.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like, why don't you just stop the fucking clock?
Literally my next question.
Like I that's one rule I've never understood. I don't
Right.
get it. And then they have extra time, which is literally 30 minutes.
Right.
So if one team scores within that 30 minutes, to me the game should be over. You shouldn't have to play
If you're
extra
playing
time.
sudden death rules, yeah.
Which that's what I'm saying.
That's,
It should
that's
be
the way sports kind of
It
runs.
should be sudden death rules. If
Right.
one team scores, the game should be over.
And it's not football. It's not, well, it is football, but it's
Football.
not NFL football.
Right.
It isn't baseball where, there's a possession rule and this team gets 3 tries, this team gets 3 tries.
Right.
There's none of that in there. So yes, exactly what you're saying, I agree with.
Yeah,
Like
that's one being a soccer fan, that's one I've never understood.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Yeah.
Like, all right, so this team, it's extra time. This team just scored to take the lead. Why are they still playing? I don't get it.
Catch stands.
Yeah,
That's
so-
not that bad of a rule.
Yeah.
It's not a great one, but it's not bad.
The crowd silence in golf. That's one where I don't understand why you have to be so silent for them to play golf. I just don't get that one either.
There's a reason.
I mean,
why
if
can't
you-
be anymore.
And you get disqualified if you don't sign your scorecard.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb too.
That's stupid.
Honestly, another one to me, get rid of extra points in the NFL, in football period. Get rid of
Ooh, the
them.
Calvin Johnson rule.
Get rid of them.
Oh, and this one just came up. Ground causes an incomplete pass out of bounds.
Complete the process.
Yeah, I think if you're falling out of bounds, I don't think that should apply. I think it should only apply if you're in the field of play.
That's fair.
I think if you catch it, you fall out of bounds, and then the ball comes out. I think it's stupid that they negate the catch. I don't agree with that one. Here's one for you. Here's one for both of you guys. The tuck rule.
Oh, that's a cruel.
Oh, and here's the last one. The 3-strike wild pitch pass ball in MLB.
Yeah, honestly, I'm actually okay with that rule. Like,
See, I'm
I am
not.
too.
I'm okay with that rule.
If you are fast enough to make it to first base before the catcher finds the ball, then fucking go for it.
Yeah. I mean, but it's kind of part of the game. You got to block the ball. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you strike out and whatever, but, you know.
Now, I will say, Does the rule make sense? No.
No.
There's no reason for it. But it makes the game more exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's why I think they should still have the intentional walk. That's why I think you should still throw the pitches, just in case something like that does happen. You know.
You fire a softie right down the middle.
Right.
Cabrera turns it into a piss missile.
It's gonna get hit, man.
Yeah, like that's your fault, not mine.
Those are some of the rules that, you know, watching sports for as long as we have, and I'm sure a lot of you out there have watched. You're just kind of like, what kind of fucking rules
Yeah,
is this?
some rules in every sport.
Yeah.
I mean, there's bad rules in tennis. There's bad rules in everything that you watch, every sport you watch. So, you know, it's some of them are dumb, and some sports change more than others. You know, we talked about it. Baseball's so finicky with changing anything, but then they'll change stupid things. You know, it's you know, whatever you like, depending on what you like. There's definitely stupid rules in every
Yeah,
one.
there's the other one I just kind of came across is
Yeah.
in the NBA, like they have like intentional fouls and they're, you know, like they're technical fouls.
Right.
So toward the end of the game, and it's clearly one team is trying to foul another team to stop the clock. Why is that not an intentional foul? I don't understand that.
It should be.
I don't. Please somebody explain that to me.
You can because an intentional foul should be you intentionally foul them, and at the end of the game you're intentionally fouling them. But an intentional foul is only called when you like go after a player
Right.
roughly.
Right.
I don't know. I can't even explain the rule because it's stupid.
It's stupid. And amateurism in college sports. Stupid.
Yeah,
Stupid.
yeah.
These kids should be able to get paid. I'm sorry.
Well, they should be able to make money off their name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be kept from having an income.
No.
I'm not saying the income should come from college or the college they go to. I'm saying the income, they should be able to make an income.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be told they can't make an income.
I agree.
You know, it's their name, it's their likeness. They should be allowed to make an income
I
off
was
it.
gonna say, if you're gonna put out a video game and you wanna put the kids' names in it, cut
They
them a
should-
royalty check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cut them a check.
They should absolutely get something for that.
And honestly, if you don't wanna put after the first or second string in the game, then fine. Nobody knows who most of those kids are anyways.
Right.
All the credit in the world that they're doing their thing, but, like, I'm sorry,
Who's that?
yeah, exactly. You don't need to pay a kid,
No.
you know, to include them. You can put the starters, you put the second string, and call it a day after that. You don't have to pay everybody.
No,
No.
I agree with you.
I mean, you should, but you don't have to.
Oh, those are some really dumb rules. Like, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think we found
Yeah, we
quite
found
few.
a lot of dumb rules.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, do we got a Big Ten decision yet? I keep looking.
No,
for
I
it.
keep looking there. I heard 6 o'clock. They're going to play. They're not going to play. The Big Ten has completely bungled this entire situation.
I was
Like
gonna
from
say,
start to where we are now. It's so unprofessional how they've gone about this. I guess that's,
Wow.
well, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think they canceled the season too soon. They didn't give it time to play out. They didn't actually think about what they were doing. And then,
And they kept nobody in the loop about this.
yeah, no, they haven't really been transparent about
No,
anything that's
no,
been going on.
Nothing.
And now they're basically going to make a statement whether they're going to play, and they're going to play without 2 teams. So it's really been a crazy development.
but in that situation, I'm not going to ask if you agree with it or not, because I do think it's stupid. If the league's going to play, I think all the teams got to be there.
Yeah.
But what happens
I mean,
with eligibility?
I'd be fine without Butgers. I'd be fine. I'd be all right with that.
Yeah,
Right. Like, yeah, some of the shittier teams, Maryland, that's fine.
I think
Nebraska.
Nebraska can just fuck right off, period.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to join the Big 12, honestly. I was like,
Yeah.
you could go ahead.
They-
Iowa, you can take Iowa with you.
yeah. You and Iowa can go have fun.
It's
Go
no
to the
problem.
Big 12.
We'll go back to the Big 10.
Right.
You guys go hang out
Oh,
over
yeah.
there with the rest of the
Go
world.
do your thing.
Butgers can just go. Bye.
What does it do to the eligibility of some of these kids?
Well,
Like,
they-
if Michigan doesn't play, but the Big 10 does,
Well,
what happens
apparently,
with seniors?
apparently Michigan and Michigan State are going to play by themselves in the spring.
Right.
They're just going to play a best of 5
That's
series.
fine. I dig it.
Like I
half,
don't.
half the
but
people in the state
from-
only care about that
from
game
what I read,
anyway,
there-
so that's big money.
From what I read, there is a blanket rule this for this year only
Okay.
that you, regardless, you still keep your eligibility if regardless if you play or not.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that I believe I read
So-
that somewhere.
Gotcha.
Technically,
So
a
even guys-
redshirt
even guys-
senior could go on for
Techni-
6 year of eligibility.
Yeah, so like
Okay.
let's say take Derek King at Miami
Mhm.
for instance.
Like he's a fifth year this year, but from what I read, technically he could play next year
If he really wanted to.
If he really wanted to.
That's interesting.
Oh,
So
well, at least they're doing that for the kids.
So we're gonna have like what 26-year-olds out on the field?
like Chris Winkie.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to start paying those
Right.
guys.
Yeah, right.
Brandon Whedon.
There you go. Now, something that is interesting, and I know Frank, you're looking for a house.
Yes,
right?
I am.
Well, right now's a great time to purchase a home or even refinance an existing home.
Very much so. Honestly, the
Yeah.
the refinance part of that, where rates
Right.
are at right now, is absolutely insane.
Now, if you're looking to do either of these, call my guy at my favorite mortgage loan officer, Jason Stilner at Flagstar Bank. I'll give you the top-notch service that everybody's looking for. They're currently offering Flagstar, that is currently offering a 0% down home purchase program. Now, the program won't last long, but the rates are incredibly low. As Frank, you just kind of reaffirmed that the rates are incredibly low.
Yeah.
So give my buddy Jason Stiltner a call at 248-675-0675. And don't miss this great opportunity. That number again is 248-675-0675. Flagstar Bank is an equal housing lender, member FDIC, MLS number 27546.
All right.
You do
So-
better at those things.
I'll get there. One of these days, I'll get there.
Listen,
I can't say
listen.
nothing. I
we-
sound
we-
like an idiot half the time.
We've been a little out of practice, so
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
it is
It
what
has,
it is.
it has been like 2.5 years. So.
Yeah. So I tell you what, are we gonna make football picks for this week?
Yes, let's do it. Go.
So let's pull
Well,
up.
speaking of that, we got to put on our website our actual like division picks,
Yeah,
and
so
Super Bowl picks.
we're gonna throw those on the website. All
Yeah.
of our picks from last week for divisional and from conference
My
and for the
sea
Super Bowl.
chicken's going across the country, baby.
Yeah. So we're going to put those on the website, sotdet.com. That's sotdet.com.
Yep.
Again, check it out for fantasy football advice, fantasy football insight, projections every week.
Joe will steer you wrong every time.
Yeah, we've got.
I will actually defend him on that one. If it was me, I would highly advise you don't listen to my fantasy projections, but I literally play in a league with him, and sometimes we'll call him and ask him what I should do.
That's fair.
So I appreciate that. We do what we can do for you guys out there, and if you check out our fantasy football advice, hopefully we're steering you in the right direction. I will say I've got about 32 years of experience in fantasy, and I've won. Let's just say I've won enough leagues in my lifetime. So also humble brag. Also check out Frank's blog. Frank put out a blog on the website. So you go to sotdet.com and go to the blog section at the top of the page and click on Frank's blog. It's a great read.
It is a great read.
If you get a chance, please go there tonight and give it a read. He worked really hard on it. And
will,
you'll enjoy it.
He puts Uncle Skip on blast. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Skip Bayless can go himself.
Like, we don't really need to get into the skip thing. I said what I had to say on it, but that's just
Well,
a
this-
fucking piece of shit move right there.
It is. But we'll point people in the direction of the blog to
Right,
go check
yes,
it out
for
because he's got a very good take on what Skip had to say about
He
Dak
does.
Prescott.
And no promises, maybe another one tonight, maybe tomorrow, something like that.
And
Depends
one
on,
of these days I'll write one.
Yeah.
One of these days.
I might leave the blogs up to you guys. I'm gonna take over the fantasy football stuff.
That's all you, brother.
Yeah,
Because
I'll
you
do that.
know how I feel about fantasy.
That's a
football.
blog
Yeah.
in itself, though.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
That's a lot of writing in there. I'm not
Right.
gonna lie. So we're all right. We're gonna get into football picks for the
Let's
week.
get, get to the picks.
So this week the picks are brought to you by On the Bay Customs Boutique and Cafe. Do you love being on the water? And if you do, I'm sure you do, living in Michigan. I know a lot of people that enjoy being on the water, being around boats, being on boats. They do a lot of things like that. So if you enjoyed that and you answered yes, I've got a perfect place for you. It's On the Bay Customs Boutique and Cafe, located on Washington Street in downtown New Baltimore, Michigan. This boutique and cafe offers beachwear as well as cozy cottage, coastal and nautical themed home decor, Michigan and lake gifts, along with furniture and clothing. You can also relax and enjoy a bite to eat in the tropical inspired cafe if you want a break from shopping. The cafe and coffee shop is nestled within their boutique and serves lunch, dinner, desserts, and offers a premium tropical smoothie bar. Among the items
that sounds so good right now.
among the items on their menu are the lobster rolls and lobster bisque. And I'm going to tell you for a fact, I've had the lobster rolls, I've had the lobster bisque, I've had quite a few things on their menu. I drive out of my way to go there and get the lobster rolls and lobster bisque. Sunday, that's what I had for dinner watching football.
Nice.
So it's amazing. Go check it out, the lobster rolls and lobster bisque. They also have added a new menu, the new cold jumbo shrimp served with fresh pineapple and a side of key lime, pineapple, and mango puree. On the Bay Customs Boutique and Cafe offers outdoor seating, takeout, and delivery options. Call 586-273-7695, located at 51043 Washington Street in Baltimore. That's On the Bay Customs Boutique and Cafe, and they bring you our picks in the NFL this week.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Hey, when you go there next week too,
Yeah.
because totally off the sports. When you go there, let me know.
Okay.
I want to try one of those smoothies.
I will let you know. Listen,
I'll try one of those lobster rolls.
bro, those are
Come on
those
out,
are
we can make a dinner
phenomenal.
date out of it.
Those are phenomenal. All right, so let's roll into the picks. We got the Thursday game. We got Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah.
Where's the game at?
So it's
It
in
is at Cleveland.
it's in Cleveland.
Browns.
Okay.
Does home field really make a difference right now?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it does because you're not. It's the traveling aspect.
It's
It's
exactly.
not-
I mean, granted, they're both in Ohio. It's
Yeah.
not
Right.
far, but
It's it's being comfortable in your own room, in your own home, as opposed to being in a hotel room.
Okay.
To me, that's the thing. Cleveland's given up 6 points in this.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're giving up 6 points. It's a 44-point spread for the over. I'm looking at Cleveland taking this game. I'm looking at them taking it easy. I think they're going to come out. I think Stefanski is a good enough coach. He's going to have them come out, and they're actually going to play this week as opposed to what they did this last week against Baltimore. I would actually take Cleveland minus the 6, and I would take the over in that game.
Are we starting Baker? Are
I
we
am-
starting OBJ?
I am
Are we
starting.
Chubb?
I am starting all my Cleveland Browns this week. Depending on, you got to watch Landry. I know he popped up on the injury chart. I'm definitely starting Baker this week. I'm starting OBJ this week. Sid Hooper. I don't trust the tight end position there. Njoku came through with some catches, so I don't think.
I think he's
Hooper's-
hurt. He got hurt.
Hooper got hurt.
No, Njoku.
Oh, Njoku got hurt. Great. Well, he's always hurt. But I still don't trust the tight end position there. I would wait another couple weeks on that, kind of see what's going on there.
Watch it play out.
And I think Chubb's going to have a hell of a game this week.
Okay.
I think he's going to bounce back and have a hell of a game. And I just traded for him in a league with you, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I will gladly take. Was it DK who I got in return?
Yes. No, you got a good return for that.
Yes.
So,
Frank, who are you taking?
I mean, Cincinnati's still so bad. So, I mean, I think Cleveland's going to get some redemption this time around.
You're not convinced by Uncle Joe Burrow?
I think the kid's got to go through some growing pains.
That's fair. I can certainly understand that.
Learn how to lose and then learn how to win.
all right, so we all took the Browns on that one.
Browns.
Chris, I hate to ask you this. Are you writing this down?
Oh, I need to write this down.
Yeah.
Yes, I will do that.
Sorry.
Yes, I can do that. 100%.
Okay.
So I'm on ESPN right now. I'm looking at their schedule. They still have ticket prices right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Tickets for that Thursday night game are currently going for $140.
Sweet.
You can get into the Tennessee-Jacksonville game for $44 though. Or you can go to the Monday night New Orleans-Las Vegas game, $642 for tickets.
All right.
Whatever, man.
That is nuts.
Mind you, these
crazy.
are games nobody's being allowed into.
Right.
Exactly.
Jacksonville's actually at Tennessee, so nobody's even going to be able to watch that one.
All right, so next up on the list, let's go with the Lions game. We've got the Lions
Packers.
at the Packers.
Packers.
All right, so the line on this game is Packers giving up 5.5. Actually, they're not even giving up as much as the Browns are giving up to Cincinnati. They're giving up 5.5. The over/under is 48.5 right now.
I'm taking the over, and I'm going with Green Bay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Green Bay. I'm definitely taking them minus the 5.5. I don't even care about that point spread. I just don't trust that Detroit team. But with that being said, this is a perfect game for them to come back and win.
This would be
shitting the bed.
This would be Lions to go into Lambeau. Is that Lambeau?
It's at Lambeau.
Yep, it's at
Again,
Lambeau.
it's different. It's a different Lambeau. I get that, but
Yeah.
it's still.
At Lambeau, no secondary.
Right.
This is
Very
this is a
Lions-esque.
Lions victory
It'd be
type game.
Lions, yeah.
So
I'm still not picking them, but
no,
yeah, this is a
it
Lions
would be
victory type
Lions.
game.
I'm gonna go Green Bay minus the 5.5.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw all over that
Oh my
secondary.
God!
Oh yeah. Well, especially if they're all hurt.
What secondary?
I actually would go over in that game as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Green Bay has a chance of going over alone.
Just by themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, next up on the list, we've got Carolina and Tampa Bay. Carolina at Tampa Bay. We've got an 8.5 point spread. Tampa Bay giving up 8.5. Over unders 48.5.
I'll take Tampa. I'll take
Give
Tampa.
it, giving up 8.5.
Yep.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not doing by the spread. I'm just doing
Oh,
straight
we're just
up.
doing pick'em. Oh,
That's
okay.
what I was doing.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to do it by.
Okay.
You know, that.
Yeah, I was making picks by spread.
Oh,
Sorry.
fair enough, that's fine.
I'm gonna take touchdown
We're,
Teddy.
we're not on the same page.
I guess not.
I'm gonna go Carolina on that one.
I think I will actually go Carolina, getting 8.5 from a Tampa Bay team that did not look very good in their first
They
game.
did not look good.
And again, new coach. They've got second year coach, but they've got a lot of new players on that team.
Yep.
They're trying to get things together. I think it's going to be very tough on those teams in
I
the
think
first part of the season.
I think Brady Wells is back.
I think
I mean, he just got called out.
Yeah.
He's never been called out
No.
like that before in his life.
Bruce Arians basically called that entire freaking team out.
Right?
yeah. I still think I take Carolina. I think they played
Yeah.
pretty well.
Especially if we're taking the spread. I definitely
Yeah,
take Carolina.
I'm taking Carolina, getting the 8.5, but I will go under in that game.
Okay.
Under 48.5. That's definitely under.
Gotcha.
Saints do not expect Michael Thomas on Monday Night Football. Just got that notification.
Wow.
You might be out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So fantasy alert.
Yeah. Beep, 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 fantasy alert. All right, so next up we've got Jacksonville and Tennessee. Jacksonville at Tennessee. Tennessee giving up 9, over-unders 42.5. That spread surprises me.
That's a big spread.
It is a big spread, but that tells me that Vegas
They know something.
knows that Jacksonville played a little better than they should have, and Tennessee didn't play as well as they should have. They know they are looking at these teams a little differently than people after they overreact to one game, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Everybody with NFL teams, they like
Right.
to overreact after one game. So I believe Vegas is right on this one, truthfully.
I'll you know what? I'll take our Lord and Savior Gardner Minshew. Absolutely. I'll take him.
Getting 9 points.
Jacksonville, baby.
I bless you.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anybody
Right.
other than Gardner Minshew.
Okay, well I'm actually going to take the wrong side of you guys then. I'm going to go Tennessee on this one. I think they come out and look a lot better than they did against Denver. I think being
Yeah,
at
they looked like shit last night.
They did. I think they're going to come out and look a lot better. I think they're going to be the team that you saw last year. I think Derrick Henry might have probably close to 200 yards. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he's going to come out and run all over this team.
It's very possible.
I will give up the 9 points, and if at a 42.5 point spread, I'm going to go over on that one.
Okay. Enough.
Next up is Giants at the Bears, a game that I don't think even people in New York and Chicago want to watch.
No, I would agree with that.
So, all right, I'll lead this one off. So, Chicago's giving up 5.5, and the over/under is 43. I'm taking the under, and I will say I'm going to take Chicago, giving up the 5.5.
I am so thankful nobody can go and watch that.
Right?
That has got to be the
I'm-
most dog shit matchup that
So-
you could possibly have right now.
I'm glad that I have the red zone, and Chris, you finally experienced the red
I
zone.
love
What
it. That's great.
It's the most fantastic channel you could ever fucking watch,
Yeah,
right?
it's pretty solid.
Because you don't have to watch shit ass games anymore.
You don't. It's fantastic.
They just jump around to the games that you want to see. They jump around to the scores you want to see, and you're not watching crap ass football, and I love it.
Right.
So you won't have to watch much of this Bears Giants game because there's not gonna be much
I was
scoring,
gonna say,
and you won't have to see much of it.
Maybe a handful of highlights or something.
Yeah,
Joe, you took the Bears?
yeah. I'm taking the Bears minus the 5.5, and I will definitely take the under in that game. It's 43. There's no way in hell in my mind they make that 43.
I'll go New York with the under.
I am going to take the Bears as well.
Yeah, Bears.
Watching that game last night and watching how atrocious the New York Giants offensive line is, I'm taking Bears all day.
Yeah, they are bad too,
Oh
bro.
man, I felt bad for Saquon Barkley last
I
night.
feel bad for Saquon. I feel bad for Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
He's running for his life half the time.
And he had like when he actually had
He had a
time,
good game.
he looked like a competent NFL quarterback.
I actually like him from what I saw from him last year. After he got drafted, everyone,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
myself
they dogged
included,
him.
was like, what? Who the hell are they
Yeah,
doing?
right.
What are you doing? After watching last season, I think he's a very good quarterback.
Yeah.
I think they made the right decision. Oddly enough, to say the New York Giants made the right decision.
Mhm.
I think they did. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. They need to get an offensive line to block for him.
Oh, it was atrocious last night.
So bad. Next up, did everybody did you guys make your picks?
Yes.
All right, everybody's done. We have Atlanta at Dallas. And Dallas is giving up 4.5. And the over-under is 52.5.
I will take Dallas. This, I like Dak. I think he's gonna have a big game. And frankly, I just don't think Atlanta's that good. And plus, their jerseys are horrific. I hate their
They are.
jerseys. They're terrible.
They are bad. They are so bad.
Like the ATL line
Atlanta
was so stupid.
Definitely has
It was like when the
offense.
Cleveland Browns put Cleveland across.
Yeah,
the
it looks incredibly dumb.
Atlanta's definitely got an offense. I don't know about a defense, though. I'm going to go with Dallas as well. Definitely going with
Kind of
Dallas.
like what you said about Derrick Henry. I think Zeke's gonna run wild. They do.
I'm gonna surprise you guys here. I'm gonna go Atlanta.
Even last week, especially if some of you guys out there were able to listen, you were really high on Atlanta.
I am high on Atlanta, and I think they're gonna have a damn good season. I don't think they played up to par in the first game. I think they bounce back in this game, and even if they don't win, getting 4.5 points, I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be high scoring. I will definitely take the over 52.5, and I will take Atlanta getting the 4.5. Not saying they're necessarily going to win the game, but I think they'll be competitive enough
So they'll at least keep it close.
to keep it close.
Okay.
And Frankie, you took Dallas.
Yeah, I'm taking Dallas on that one. I'm just not sold on Atlanta's defense.
Next up on the menu, we have the Vikings at the Colts. We have Indianapolis giving up 3, and we have an over-under of 48.
I'm gonna take Minnesota. I'm sorry, Philip Rivers is dude.
He didn't look good.
He did not
No,
look
he
good.
didn't.
It's time. You know what? Go have 8 more fucking kids. Like, just stop. Like,
Last week you were saying he's got to stay in the league just so he can support those kids.
Right.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I did not say he had to stay, but I said he was going to.
Yes. Yeah. Just like I said, hang it up, man. You know, just permanently keep your dick in your wife. I don't care. But you need to stop playing football.
Let's see. I'm leaning the Colts, and simply for the reason that they didn't look good, and Philip Rivers didn't look good, and he kind of gave that game away. I think he comes out at home without travel, and I think he plays well. I think that they're able to beat the Vikings, and I'm going to take them giving up 3. And I will actually take the over in this game as well. I think both teams will score quite a bit on each other. I don't think either defense is what people thought they would be. And I think Indianapolis takes it in the end.
From that week 1 defense, I'm with you on that. They're definitely not looking like the defense that Minnesota could have been.
No.
I'm not sold on Rivers. Cousins is Cousins. I definitely think it's going to be an over. I'm going to take Cousins in a shootout.
Hey, it looks like I'm going opposite of you two most of the time here. All right, so next up we have Buffalo at Miami. We have the first road team giving up points here. Buffalo is giving up 6 to
Gonna be
Miami.
Unanimous here again?
What's that?
I said, are we going to be unanimous again?
It's possible. So I'll go first on this one.
All right.
I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm going to take Buffalo giving up the 6. And I will also take the over in this. It's 42. I think Miami will score some late points in garbage time to make it over 42, but I think Buffalo takes this game pretty easily until the fourth quarter where Miami might make it a little closer, but I think Buffalo wins this game pretty easy.
Bills.
Bills Mafia.
It's not even that. I just think they're better than Miami. They're a better football team
For sure. But keep in mind, Miami beats some pretty good. They do beat some pretty good
I
teams
know.
every once in a while, even being bad.
They're like the Lions. They win the
Right,
games
right,
they have no
yeah.
business winning.
Right.
Like I think overall, just Buffalo's a better team, and I think they're going to prove that when they play Dolphins. Because I'm sorry, the Dolphins, they're not very good.
No.
Put it down, Bills, all 3 of us.
Okay. Next up, we have the 49ers at the Jets. We have the 49ers giving up 6.5 on the road in New York, and the over/under is 42.5
With no Le'Veon Bell.
with no Lev Bell.
So you got to put on IR.
It's pretty easy for me.
I was gonna, and Adam Gaze doesn't use Le'Veon Bell the right way anyway, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make this pick by just saying one thing: Adam Gase is still the head coach of the New York Jets.
There you go. I think
So-
If you read his fantasy outlook,
I mean,
the literal reason he told you not to start people was because of Adam Gase.
My reason for not starting Le'Veon Bell was Adam Gase is still the head coach of the New York Jets.
it was kind of like with Mike Shanahan when he would just like hate your fantasy running
Like,
backs.
oh,
my
he was
gosh.
awful.
He was the worst.
But like, there's nothing else for me to say there.
Yeah.
The head coach
It's
of the New York Jets is Adam Gase.
That's what I was gonna say. That's why I picked the Niners. The Jets are an absolute dumpster fire.
They're actually worse
And the
than
thing
the
is,
Lions and the Browns.
I think Darnold's good. I think he has a chance to be good.
Yeah, but he's not gonna be because they can't put an offensive line around him, and they're basically doing him a disservice.
I think this.
The franchise is ruining him.
I think this is going to be a throttling. I think San Fran's going to come back, bounce back after an unexpected loss to Arizona.
Where's that game at?
It's in New York.
In New York?
Even again, no fans, but that cross country flight, those can be tricky sometimes.
They can, but I'm gonna tell you this, guys, a little fantasy insight that I'll give you a little later on in the week. I think Raheem Mostert is a must start this week against that Jets defense. I think he has probably 150 yards and maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Nice.
No joke.
Okay.
Next, we have the Rams traveling to Philly, giving up 1.5, and the over/under is 46.
I won't even pick the Rams because of the jerseys.
Those things are so bad.
I hate those
Like
things.
create a jersey on Madden. That's what they look
It's
like.
exactly what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, they're bad.
And I love Jalen Ramsey. I would love to get Jalen Ramsey jersey, but I will not wear that
But you're
atrocity.
not getting that though.
I will not wear that atrocity.
I know I picked the Eagles to win the NFC East, but I'm going to take the Rams. I personally think this team's quit on Carson Wentz. I do. I think they've quit. I don't think they like him as a human being.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
I mean, the way they played in this last game, I can't tell you you're wrong. I don't agree with that, but I from visually, I can't tell you you're wrong.
I'm
Yeah,
hoping they
I
haven't
think-
quit on him.
I think to me that's how it looks. I mean, I've seen so many instances where even his teammates they don't like defend him. They don't go to pick him up after he gets sacked. You know, just this past game against Washington,
Yeah.
like it was just, you see like his lineman just standing there going, okay. Cool.
You gonna get up?
Yeah,
bud?
right.
You gonna get up?
Did you guys
gonna
read
quit?
anything about what went down at halftime for that game?
No,
Oh yeah.
Did you
I
read
did.
it?
I did.
Yes, I did.
So
Yeah.
Rivera, who got diagnosed
Oh,
in the
when
offseason with cancer,
Haskins
Yeah.
set up, yeah, I did read that.
Rivera goes
Yeah.
into the medical center,
Mm.
gets an IV, and Haskins,
Haskins has a.
out of nowhere steps up and just gives
That's awesome.
win one for the Gipper type
I know.
speech.
That's the type of quarterback you want in your organization.
Yep, that's my
and
quarterback.
Anybody can talk about anything they want to about that kid.
Yep.
But that's the type of quarterback you want in your organization.
All right.
Young
Period.
kid steps up, takes a leadership role, and just goes with it.
All right. So
You know, I'm gonna go Philly.
you're taking Philly.
I'm gonna take Philly. The 1 point doesn't matter to me. I think Philly pulls this one out at home.
Right.
I think again I think they bounce back. I think it'll be a back and forth game. I don't think they're going to blow out the Rams by any means. I think it might even be a last-second field goal game, possibly. But I think Philadelphia comes back in this one at home.
And
Yeah,
you took Philly. Okay. Next.
Next, we have the Broncos traveling to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers giving up 7 and a 41.5 point over.
I'm going to take the Steelers. I think that defense is fantastic.
I think that's your surprise team of the year.
I think it is. You know, when we made our picks earlier or last week about who's going to win divisions, I didn't even think of the Steelers. It didn't even register with me. It really didn't.
Well,
For whatever reason, it just didn't.
it did to me, but they're not going to win the division because they're playing in the division with Baltimore.
But I didn't even consider them.
Yeah.
Even like a wild card team.
Well, no, we sat here,
No.
we made fun of Ben the entire night.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I just didn't.
and then he came back and he was Ben.
Well, and I even said I think they fall down a little bit because even with Ben coming back, with and of course Connor, man, James Conner cannot stay healthy to save his life.
That sucks.
The guy's, I swear to God, he's made of glass.
Yeah, right.
Like he can't stay on the field, and if he could stay on the field, he would be a hell of a running back.
Yes, he would be.
I was
throw
completely
your
wrong
ass.
so far. I don't want again. We're not overreacting one game, but based on that one game, I was wrong because I said they would not look like the old Steelers, and yet they
That-
came out
that
and
defense
looked.
looked
Now
good.
that defense though is really good.
Yeah, it is.
I never want to take away from that defense.
And Juju looked like old Juju.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
He really did.
And TJ Lang looked like
Who's TJ
third
Lang?
TJ Lang.
TJ Watt looked like JJ Watt.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
TJ Lang.
Literally was looking right at the helmet. too.
TJ Lang helmet right here. There you go.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna go Pittsburgh on this one. Giving up 7's a lot to give up, but they're at home. They're playing against a Denver team that just did not look very good against Tennessee, and I don't trust Drew Lock very much as a lot of experts do. So
Yeah,
I
I don't get the fascination with Drew Lock.
I don't either. I think Pittsburgh takes this one pretty easily at home in a 1 o'clock game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
They
I'm
got a
going
clean
with
sweep?
Pittsburgh on that.
Solid.
Next up, we have the Washington football team traveling to Arizona. Arizona's giving up 7 points in a 46.5 point over/under.
Last week I would have called this the most minute matchup of the week.
I love
I'm
Arizona.
almost so intrigued to watch it.
Yeah.
I love Arizona. I love that team. I love everything about that team. Their quarterback, I have a man crush on their quarterback. This is the team that I want to watch play, and especially with D Hop coming out and looking
Yeah.
as good as he looked, I will be all over watching anything this team does.
Yeah, I would in 100% agreement with you. Especially what I saw this past week, what Kyler did, and just, man,
He's a stud.
he is a stud, and for that reason, I think just for the simple fact they have a better quarterback than the Washington Football Club.
The Washington football team.
Yeah, for that reason alone, that's why I'm taking the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals as well, giving up 7. I don't really care about the 7 because they're going to beat them by 10 or more. I'm taking Arizona in a route.
Yeah, I'm going to go with AZ as well.
Next up, we have the Ravens traveling to Houston. Ravens are giving up 6.5 in Houston with an over/under of 52.5. Who wants to lead off this one?
Go ahead, Frank.
Go ahead, Frank. You lead this
Have
one.
it.
I'm just going to start off by saying Houston is not the team I expected them to be. They did not look like the team that Deshaun Watson had last year.
Oh, no.
Losing D-Hop is really going to end up being I'm not going to say a death sentence for them, but that is going to kill them.
It's a detriment.
Yeah.
Although I will say David Johnson looked a lot better than I thought he
He
would.
did.
Mhm.
He
David
showed
Johnson
flashes
he
that
impressed me.
the old player's still sort of there.
Yeah,
Not
and-
that he's going to be 100% himself.
And
but
Fuller was
still there.
impressive,
Yep.
taking on the lead role.
If he can stay healthy, man.
If he can stay healthy, I think he can play that lead role. And I don't think a lot of people thought he could. And it wasn't just health-wise. They thought he was a number 2. I truly believe if he can stay healthy,
Yep.
he's going to, and this goes back to fantasy too, I'm going to tell you, I think he's going to put up top 10 numbers as a wide receiver this year if he can stay healthy. It's a big if, but if he stays healthy, he's putting up top 10 numbers this year as a wide receiver.
I just don't see him doing that.
Well, I mean, you're not alone.
Right.
You're not alone.
Hence why I traded him off and gave him to you.
Right. So let's,
Where did we go?
I'm
Who are you
going.
picking?
I'm going Baltimore simply because Bill O'Brien's the Houston Texans head coach. That guy's a fucking idiot.
yeah, I think it goes back to the whole, the head coach is still Adam Gase.
Yeah.
The head coach
That guy's
and
a-
GM is still Bill O'Brien.
As long as
Yeah.
he's the head coach of that franchise, you guys aren't going to win shit. That guy's
No.
a fucking moron.
I hate to say it, I have family in Houston, and I know they love the Texans. They love everything about Houston, the Astros, even though
They're
they
a good
cheated.
team. They're fun to
Um,
watch.
They are, and I love Deshaun Watson. I'm a huge fan of Deshaun Watson, but I think Baltimore travels to Houston, and they easily cover the spread of 6.5. Baltimore, to me, is the best team in the league right now overall.
Even over Casey?
I believe so because I don't trust KC's defense as much as I do Baltimore's, and I think Baltimore's offense is taking a step forward.
Okay.
Now, Kansas City has more weapons,
Yeah, they do.
but as a team overall, I'll take Baltimore all day,
That's fair.
and I'll take them in this game against Houston.
No.
Clean sweep.
Next up is the Chiefs we just talked about, traveling to LA to play the Chargers, and they're giving up 9 points, and it's a 48-point over/under, which surprises me. That's low for a Kansas City game.
They're taking on the Chargers.
Yep.
That Mahomes Hill chemistry really looked like they haven't missed a day of throwing to each other.
Well, him and Kelsey,
of
too.
Playing catch with each
Yeah.
other. Kelsey, I expected that with, though.
Yeah.
Hill kind of went through some things last year. I'm not going to say he fell off the radar, but he kind of fell from everybody's good graces.
Right.
And as it's turned around, like it really doesn't look like it's affected him anymore to this point. I'm going to go with Casey.
9 points is a lot to give up, especially on the road. but they against Houston, and I will take them again this week. I think they cover this on the road, and they beat the Chargers by a significant amount, more than 9. And,
More than 9.
well, I think a significant amount more
Right.
than 9. I think it's probably a 14 to 20 point game. In all honesty.
Frank, you took Casey?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I will take Casey as well, just because I do think they are the best team in the NFL. I think they're better than Baltimore.
Listen, it's hard to argue.
I mean, 1-1-A, whatever you want to say.
It's hard to argue that.
Just you watch Mahomes play, just like
Oh,
just watch him do some of the stuff he does. It's just like, okay.
But the one thing I want to do though, just for 1 second, because
I know where you're going. You calling me out here?
I am.
I figured.
So the first Mahomes' first year that he played. Now he didn't play in his first year except for the last game.
Right.
Right.
And then the second year he played, and he was lights out. He threw 50 touchdown passes or whatever. And you and I were having conversations. Before that season started, I even told you, Mahomes is my quarterback that I'm taking in the late
Yep.
rounds, and he's going to be the guy to lead me to a championship
I
because
will vouch that
he's
you
a
didn't say that.
he's a late round quarterback that I want to get, and he's going to score more points than most of the guys. I didn't say he was going to score the most total, but I said he's going to be in the top 5
Yeah.
of quarterbacks, and I'm taking him in the late rounds that year. And I said, this is the next guy. This is your next guy.
You did.
And even at the end of the season, you looked at me and you go, I'm not sold.
The City Super Bowl.
No.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah,
That's what I totally thought I was getting called out
Yeah,
for.
okay.
No. No, I'm calling you out for something 2 years ago.
There you go. There you
You
go.
wonder why we don't let things go around here.
We just
No,
don't.
we just
don't.
don't, for
But
sure.
yeah, I had to get that out there. Are you now sold on the fact that he
Oh.
is the back then I said he was the next coming of the top quarterbacks. Now, are you sold on the fact that he is the best quarterback in the league?
So we're gonna go full Joe on this one.
Okay.
If you go to sotdet.com and
Nice
read
plug.
under our blog,
Well done. Nice
right?
plug.
If you read under the blog that I wrote the other day, I now think at this point Mahomes has the potential to be the greatest quarterback of all time.
Ooh.
Wow. I am not
Yes.
saying he is.
Not yet, but he has the potential to be.
I'm saying with how easy this kid makes the
He
position
does.
look.
It's incredible how easy, effortless he makes it look.
And
It's amazing.
no disrespect to Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the GOAT.
System quarterback.
Oh,
It's been
Jesus.
one game. It's been one game.
Okay.
But right now, you
Right.
have a case.
No, you don't, because he's
No, it's
in
one
his
game.
he's in his mid. Well, first of all, it's one
Yeah.
game. Second of all, he's in his mid-40s with a totally new team. You can't.
He's still got Gronk.
The case cannot be made based on his time in Tampa for 1 year, even if he plays a full year there. I can't tolerate that.
I don't know. I just
No
like
way.
giving you shit about it.
I know.
It just makes me laugh.
I know.
I'm just saying that there's an argument to
Yes.
be made at this point.
Okay, I agree with you, and I kind of wanted to point that towards your blog, so that was another
But
good sell.
with how easy Tom has to work at being a good quarterback. There's no doubt about that. That is not an effortless job.
Right.
Mahomes is naturally talented. The
Yeah.
kid just oozes
Well,
talent.
shit. I mean,
It's
he got drafted as a
Well,
baseball player.
he did.
Shit.
By the Tigers.
By the Tigers. I mean, anyway.
All right,
The
so
Tigers
let's-
could be Super Bowl champions right now.
That's
They
right.
could have been. Oh. So next up is the Patriots traveling to Seattle, and we have Seattle giving up 4 points in a 45-point over/under game. That's an 8:20 start on Sunday night.
Like we talked about earlier in the show about Cam. I thought he looked great. This week 1, just traveling again, another cross country, travel.
He looked like the old Cam.
He did.
He doesn't have to throw a lot on that team.
He doesn't.
But if he keeps running the way they have him running, and he
Right.
can put up 50 to 75 yards a game,
Mhm.
and be able to give them some options down the end zone, that's big.
With all that being said, I'm still taking Seattle.
I mean, I know you're sold on Seattle. You're a big Seattle
Yeah,
backer. this year.
I think they're just they're better than New England. Russell Wilson is better than Cam Newton.
Yeah, oh
The
yeah, for
team,
sure.
The team
for
itself
sure.
is just better than Cam Newton. And honestly, I thought Seattle's defense looked better than I thought it was going to look.
Yeah,
So
they look good. They look good, and Jamal Adams was all over the place.
I'm going with the Sea Chickens.
Frank.
I'm right behind you with that one, Chris. Sea chickens.
I'm going to take New England in this game.
Slappy.
I'm gonna no. It's 4 points is I'm not necessarily saying they're going to win. I think
Yeah.
getting the 4 points
That's fair.
is enough. I think New England has a good enough defense.
Yeah.
They're still tops in the league in the defense, on defense, I should say. And when it comes down to it, I think Bill Belichick is really all I have to say about coaching strategy. I think he
Who?
finds a way to keep this game.
Never heard of him.
Never had.
Next.
He's going to outcoach the
I-
USC great.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think he's a good coach personally. I don't.
Is
I
he
don't
is he
think- I
gonna
don't
start
think Carroll's
coaching
a
games
good
with like a Subway footlong in his hand? So he can,
Listen, you do what you got to do to sell stuff,
guess,
right?
I guess.
But I think
got
they
one
keep the
shoved
game.
up at that
Yeah, right.
half sleeve.
I think the new offense that they've instilled with Cam Newton is going to give Seattle a little bit of a problem, and I believe they keep this game close. If they lose, I don't think it'll be by more than the 4 points.
No, that's fair.
Next up is the last game of the week on Monday night. We have the Saints traveling to the Raiders. Saints are giving up 6 and an over-under of 50 points and a half for the over-under. This one's an easy pick for me. I'm going to let you guys go first because I know exactly what I'm taking in this one already.
I do too.
Hands down, not even.
I know exactly what I'm taking.
Go
I'm
ahead.
taking the Raiders, baby.
The Raiders.
I'm taking the Raiders.
The Raiders.
I'm taking the Raiders.
That's exactly what I'm taking. And I think Josh Jacobs has another hell of a game with another couple touchdowns. Fantasy input right there, fantasy insight. Play Josh Jacobs. Never sit him, but especially this week, get him in your lineup. Get him in your DFS lineups. He's gonna run wild on this team.
And open in the new crib too.
Yeah.
First game in the new crib.
Yep.
That's why tickets are
Yeah.
$642
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. For people that can't be there.
Exactly.
for everybody.
And you know
who
some
wants to be there.
some stupid fucking people are gonna like see that and like buy it.
No, it's
Oh yeah.
stupid.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can go right.
If it was just to show the ticket, if tickets were like $20, I would buy a ticket
And that's
just to hang
right.
out.
But for
But
600,
for
whatever it is.
$642,
But you know
not
some
a
you know
chance.
some moron's gonna buy it. You'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Fucking moron.
All right. So I think we have the pick'ems for the week.
We do.
All right, excellent. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us this week. It's been a much better week
Yeah, I
with the
think so.
podcast than last week. We did have some audio issues last week. This week it was fixed, and we appreciate everybody sticking around and listening to us and coming back this week to listen. If you did listen to the one last week, we appreciate you coming back and not taking that for just, for the bad sound quality and not coming back. We appreciate you coming back.
We really do know what we're doing, guys. Just
Wait.
bear with us a little
Yeah,
bit.
bear with us. We have some growing pains, but we're working it out.
We're shaking
And
the
we-
rust
we-
off.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. And every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, join us on our live stream on our website, sotdet.com. And also check us out on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out Sports on Tap Detroit. And again, that's sotdet.com. And on behalf of Frank Dragata, Chris Scott, and myself, thanks for joining us. And we are out.
See you.
See you.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris
So,
Jones
I
taking
got
on
an
all
interesting update
topics.
over,
No stop. They
I'm
keep
not
it
really
going
good,
and going and ball hopping to the
I'm not
record.
good
It's
for
hard
me to go
stopping.
with it. We're going to throw it on. But apparently,
Sports center
it
competition, man, they get it to win. This ain't no Luke from Carolina, Duke from MSU.
Oh, shit.
You'll know if you listening and you
Just got the pop up during the show.
shocked like a thundercloud.
This would have been a great thing to go with if there was more information about what the hell that was.
Weather, you better put on a sweater, you better
You like
just let
that
it go
FLD
and all
sound,
come
yeah.
intact. Sit back, relax,
I do like that, yeah.
it's on tap.
Yeah, when you bring up shit from 2 years ago, don't ask me if I remember it. Because the answer is no.
You really don't remember saying that?
I remember